right here to get to the lead or to try and get these 2 spots or whatever that case is. You have to always be mindful of that because there is that opportunity. And, the easiest way to lose the Daytona 500 is get caught up in a wreck, and it happens often.
What is the frustration level? I mean, you have been nearly there. I mean, literally going into turn 3 with a chance to win the race and have it taken away. But what's the frustration level to have a good car and then get swept up into something that you had nothing to do with, but when the grenade went off, you were in it as well?
Yeah, I've obviously, unfortunately, had the time and opportunity to think about that on multiple occasions, and I've come to the conclusion that I would rather be a part of that opportunity to win and not win versus not really even be involved in the Daytona 500 and get out of there with a 7th place finish. That's really my mentality, and the way I look at it is that to me it means more to me to be running up front and have my sponsors on TV and all of those things and be challenging to win the race and it not go my way versus running a clean race, off the back of the draft and being very conservative for the entire race and then missing all the wrecks and finishing 7th. Now that's certainly a better payday and a better points day. But at the end of the day, we're there to put on a show. We're there to race. And when I go to the Daytona 500, it's the biggest race of the year, and I want to win, and I want to make sure I'm doing everything I can to put myself and our team in position to win that race.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Jake with Autosport. Go ahead, Jake.
Thank you. Aric, turning to Chase joining the team this year, obviously he's a rookie and there's going to be less practice and seat time available for him to get up to speed. What are the areas that you think are going to be most important for you and your other teammates to get him up to speed as quick as you can?
Yeah, I think the biggest adjustment for him is just the comfort level that he had in the Xfinity series and in those cars. They obviously had great equipment, and he was doing a great job with those cars, and obviously putting himself in position to win almost every week and winning a lot. Now transitioning to the Cup car, he doesn't know what to expect as much. He doesn't know when he fires off at Homestead or even Daytona how his car is going to drive. What's it going to drive like in the draft? How's his car going to behave, in the middle 3 wide, late in the tire run, all those things. And as much as, somebody else tells you, until you experience it for yourself, it's really, really difficult and really hard. And I know that from, years ago when I first came in to the Cup Series and running full time. I had several, other drivers, help, and you still have to go through those growing pains. You still have to learn from experience. There's no substitute for experience. And you've seen that with every rookie along the way. And some guys are obviously more fortunate than others to get it to click and, things take off faster for some than others, but you have to learn from experience. And I think Chase is going to be the same way. We can talk to him, we can tell him, he can pick our brains, but until he goes out there and feels it for himself and experiences it, it's going to be all new.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Kelvin with RSN Trackside. Go ahead, Kelvin.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Aric, for joining us today. Just a question. So 10 years ago, Smithfield joined you in your sponsorship, and you're driving the 10 car. What has that relationship really meant to you, and how has it grown over the years?
Yeah, I just did an interview about this the other day, and what I said, I've thought about it since I said it because it just kind of naturally came out, and I've thought about it more since I said it, and it's so true. But it's meant everything. Really, it's meant everything. Like it's no secret that it costs a lot of money to run in NASCAR, and you've got to have corporate funding and sponsorship backing to be able to go and race and to be successful. And for me, I've had that for all 10 years of my Cup career. Smithfield has been my partner, and I can honestly say that without Smithfield, my career would probably not be what it is today. And it certainly would have been probably but it would most likely have been a lot shorter, and not as successful. And so I owe so much to them and their support. And at the same time, you know, I work my tail off to be sure to give them more than they ever asked for, because it is truly a partnership. You know, I've always viewed it that way. It's not just them paying money to put their name on the side of a race car and go around in circles. It's really about them investing in me and my career, and me investing in their company. And I think because of that, and because of the way our relationship got off to, you know, the beginning, I feel like I'm part of the Smithfield family, and they treat me that way. And we've had, you know, 10 great years to show for it.
Thanks, Aric.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Aric Smith. Go ahead, Aric.
Yeah, Aric, how much have you had to change your driving style on super speedways, especially since the tapered spacer came out last year? Has it changed a lot since your win at Talladega in 18?
Yeah, it has. You know, when the cars were what they were in 2018, the runs were a lot slower. Our cars were a lot faster, and the closing rate of speed due to the draft was a lot slower. The runs came at a slower closing rate, and a lot about the draft was very different. Even the way the cars drove around each other in the draft, you know, the way that they drafted and the way that they affected the cars around you now is so much different. The runs come way faster, and the cars are going 20 miles an hour slower. But the closing rate, because of the draft, is so effective. The closing rate is very, very fast. So it is very different on many accounts. And I think that's one of the things that makes our sport so interesting, and what makes the drivers in our sport so great is that the drivers are so good at figuring it out and adapting.
And do you feel like next Sunday would be kind of like it was last year, you know, just kind of have to survive to get there towards the end, but it seems the aggression, you know, get the last 20, 30 laps just picks up, having to block moves. And do you foresee that happening again this year?
Without a doubt. Absolutely. Yeah, I think, you know, it's super speedway racing. No matter what, the draft is a very big part of our racing. And so guys run into each other, and that helps both cars go faster. When you lock bumpers, you go faster. So anytime there's contact involved, and that helps you go faster when you start pushing and shoving, it only takes one small mistake at 195, 200 miles an hour to misjudge something just by, you know, a fraction of an inch, and you get involved in a big wreck.
Thanks, Aric. Safe travels to Daytona next week.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Ashley McCummon. Go ahead, Ashley.
Aric, a bunch of your super speedway success sorry, let me rephrase this. A bunch of your success has come on the super speedways. What's been the secret for you?
You know, I can't put my finger on just one thing. It takes a lot of different things. It takes a fast race car. It takes a great spotter. You know, me in the seat. It takes a lot of concentration and focus, but really just forethought, just always thinking about your next move. It really is a high-speed chess match, and you're constantly weighing out your risk versus reward, like I spoke about earlier. And fortunately for me, I've more often than not found myself in position to win these super speedway races when it comes down to the end of the race. And I've done it many a different ways. I've done it by being up front and being aggressive all race. I've done it by laying back and avoiding the big wrecks and then being there at the end. I've found myself with opportunities to win these races, multiple different ways. And so I really think that it takes a lot of different key elements to all just kind of go your way on that given race.
And what is it going to take for you to put the number 10 back in victory lane, as I know that's something that's been missing the past couple of years?
Yeah, I would say, we've got fast race cars. We've got to continue that. We've got to continue to bring really fast Smithfield Ford Mustangs to the racetrack. And then from that point, it really is about just executing. And I know you probably hear that from 39 other drivers, but it's true. All of the little details matter. And I've got to do my part in the race car, from hitting my marks and finding the most grip and the most speed on the racetrack, doing a good job on restarts and gaining more spots than I lose. We've got to do better on pit road. We've got to get to where we're one of the top teams on pit road. You see year after year, the teams that battle for the championship at Homestead are usually the teams, those 4 pit crews are usually in the top 6 or 7 average pit crews on pit road for the season. So we've got to do better at that. We've got to, execute the races better. Just all of it has to happen in order to win at this level. It's so hard to win a Cup Series race, incredibly difficult. And you've got to be perfect, and you've got to do all the little things right.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Bra with Spectrum News 13.
Hey, Aric, it's Bree McNaught with Spectrum News 13 in Orlando. Just wanted to ask you about how, you're a local guy, you have roots in Central Florida and in Tampa. What is it like? I know you've been asked this a million times, but what is it like to just race somewhere here locally that you're familiar with? And what does that mean to you? Does it have that much more pride with everything?
Certainly pride. It feels like home. It's so hard to describe, but as soon as the airplane door opens up and I step off of it and I feel that, that warm, humid air, it feels like home. I mean, that's how I grew up for the first, 18 years of my life, in Florida. And so as soon as I step off the airplane, it immediately just feels like home, and I feel comfortable in that setting. And I have so many friends and family in the area, and get to catch up with them on most cases. Now with COVID, that'll obviously be different and challenging and whatnot. But yeah, just it's a level of comfort when I show up to Daytona that I don't really have anywhere else, to be honest.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Kyle Foster. Go ahead, Kyle.
Hi, Aric. So this year you guys are returning back to, am I on the screen? Anyway, there's a lot of road course races this year. What are your thoughts on coming back to Sonoma Raceway and on particular all the road courses?
Yeah, I've not been the best of road course racer. I'll be the first to admit that. So that is something that I have tasked myself with at getting better. I've got to get better at it, and I have put effort into that, and I've been diligent with trying to become a better road course racer. And I'm going to be a better road course racer. Sonoma, honestly, is my best road course track. I have the best results there. I run the best there. And so of all the road course races that I look forward to, I always look forward to Sonoma the most because I run the best there. So yeah, I hope by the time it's time to go there that the state is open back up and that we can come and put on a show in Napa Valley. And I would love to go there. And as I get better at road racing everywhere else, hopefully that will transition to being better at Sonoma. And it will take me from being a 7th to 10th place guy at Sonoma and maybe put me in contention to run top 5 and maybe even challenge to win a race there.
What a quick follow-up to that. You'll just unload and go. It'll be a one-day show. What are your thoughts on that? It's kind of different than what it normally is at Sonoma, especially with the fact that I've heard that the track is always dirty when you guys unload. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think I'll miss out the most on just the experience of Napa Valley. And, that's one of the weekends that I've always enjoyed taking my wife, and we kind of have a date weekend, leave the kids at home with grandma and grandpa, and go out west and enjoy ourselves for a couple of days and then go race at Sonoma. So I'll miss that probably the most. But as far as practice at Sonoma, it was always a very difficult track to practice at. The surface is very abrasive on the tires, and so you only got a couple of laps anyways to really understand what your car was going to feel like or drive like. And then all the other times you were just kind of getting in a rhythm and getting ready for the race, just in your brake points, your shift points, and all of those things. You were just kind of getting in that rhythm to prep for the race. But actually tuning on the car was very difficult at Sonoma anyways. So practice was never super beneficial.
Gotcha. Thank you very much.
Okay, our next question will come from Greg Engel. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, hi. Aric, speaking of being down here, I almost said Dakota because I see your name, Dakota's name down there. You should charge him for using this phone. Obviously, it's great. Tampa, our Bucks are in the Super Bowl Sunday, and they're playing at home for the first time ever in any Super Bowl. The home team's playing. Yes, it sucks that we can't be there and watch them in person. But where are you gonna be watching from? Do you have any plans? Is it just a big family night?
Yeah, it'll be just a big family night. Obviously, we're getting close to the Daytona 500, so being very mindful of staying in my bubble and not putting myself at any more risk than I need to make sure that I'm COVID free and that I can show up and go start the season and not miss any races because of that. So that's top of mind, and because of that, yeah, it's basically made our plans pretty clear. We're going to stay home and cheer really loud from the couch, and probably fire up the grill and cook some Smithfield products on the grill and hang out and just kind of make a day of it.
I do have some Smithfield ham in the.
There you go. You have to slow smoke it on your grill.
I usually do.
Hopefully you have a Pit Boss grill.
Well, I no, but what's the spread? Do you think? How bad they gonna win?
Well, I just a few minutes ago gave a prediction, and I'm gonna have to stick to it at this point. I can't go flip flopping on everybody on my score. So I'm gonna say Bucks 37, Chiefs 31. We're not gonna hold the Chiefs to less than 31 points. So if we can hold them to 31, I feel like our defense can, and I feel like our offense can get 34 to 37 points on the board.
Thank you, Aric. Have fun with Daytona 500, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Anton with ASN Media. Go ahead, Anton.
Thanks, Amanda. Good afternoon, Aric. You were just half a lap away from your Daytona 500 victory in 2018. Did it change your mentality heading into the next races, the fact that the win just slipped away?
No, I was just really upset for about 24 hours, maybe 48 hours. And then after that, I was already shifting my focus to the next race and trying to, put that one behind me. That's the one thing in life that, is so apparent. and we're always faced with that is that we can't change the past, right? We can't go back and change what happened yesterday or even 5 minutes ago. We just have to always look at the present and look ahead and look towards the next opportunity. And so that's been my mentality with our sport and kind of in life in general. And so, yeah, I was bummed out for sure. To be that close to win the Daytona 500 and it not happen. But, you know, I don't think it kept me down whatsoever. We went on to have a great season the rest of the year, won a race later that season, and finished 5th in the points, in the overall point standings. So, yeah, it still turned out to be a great year, even though the Daytona 500 got away from us.
Thanks. Wishing you all the best for this year.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Marty with ROC Sports. Go ahead, Marty.
Thanks, Amanda. Hey, Aric. Hope you're doing well, man. I want to ask you about your Cuban heritage. You know, Pitbull obviously joining Trackhouse Racing coming into 2021. What does this mean for NASCAR's diversity as it really increases amongst the Latino community?
Yeah, it's huge. You know, I am proud of where my family has come from and to get to where I'm at today. I tell people all the time, I'm living proof of the American dream. My grandparents came over from Cuba in 1966 on the Freedom flights. They brought my dad, my uncle, and started with nothing and started over and built everything back up. You know, created a environment around my dad and my uncle to get them launched in life, and you know, here I am, the very next generation after they come over, and I drive a race car for a living. You know, who would ever think that? That's so crazy. So yeah, it's our country is an amazing country. You know, they talk about the land of opportunity. It certainly is. And yeah, I'm very proud of you know, my background and my Hispanic heritage, and I appreciate very much the fan base that follows and that, you know, cheers for us. I know, you know, Daniel Suarez and myself are the two guys that kind of represent the Latino community, and I love it. And we've had some very unique and great opportunities to go into some heavily you know, dense populated areas of Hispanic culture and community, and educate them on NASCAR and invite them to a race, and to have them come out and to experience it with their family has been amazing. And they are now hooked and lifelong, you know, NASCAR fans because of it. So it means a lot to me.
Thanks for your time, man. Have a great Speed Weeks.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Cameron Richardson. Go ahead, Cameron.
Hey, Aric. How has your motivation changed for this season now that you are teaming up with another up-and-comer in Chase Briscoe? Do you feel a bigger chip on your shoulder than last season?
No, I've never been one that's ever really walked around with a chip on my shoulder or felt like I, you know, had something to prove. I've always been kind of more quiet, more reserved, and just internally motivated to do my best. And if nothing else, just to, you know, to make sure that I am always at my peak. And I've never had any sort of outside pressure that ever felt more than the pressure I put on myself to perform at a high level. So it doesn't matter who my teammate is, doesn't matter who I'm racing against, you know, whether I'm racing against Jimmy Johnson or Dale Earnhardt Jr., Kevin Harvick, or, you know, anybody else. That's never really been a big deal to me. It's always just been for me to get the most out of my race car on that given day.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to take our next question from Kelvin. Go ahead, Kelvin, with your follow-up question.
Thanks, Amanda. Thanks, Aric. So going into the season, NASCAR is deeming it the most exciting season in NASCAR, and it has the potential to be with all the scheduling changes. You got 6 road courses now, Bristol Dirt Race, And then you have the additions of Michael Jordan joining with 23XI Racing. You have Trackhouse Racing, Live Fast Racing is joined with BJ McLeod. How exciting is it to be a driver in the sport right now, and the way it's going, considering that it's always ups and downs, it seems, with NASCAR? And then which track of the new tracks are you looking forward to the most?
Yeah. So I'll start with your first comment, and to be a part of NASCAR at this time is a lot of fun, and it's very exciting to see kind of the trajectory. It's not a secret that for a while the sport was sliding a little bit, and ratings and all those things. And it seems like a couple of years ago it kind of bottomed out, and now we seem to be back on a little bit of an upward trajectory, and that's exciting. That's fun. Growing and building towards something for the future is exciting. And so I agree, NASCAR is getting ready to launch into our most exciting season ever. We've got some really unique events on the schedule with Bristol Dirt Race and new racetracks, going to Nashville Superspeedway, going to road courses that we've never been to in the Cup Series. So yeah, it's going to be interesting and exciting, and I have no doubt that the 40 of us knuckleheads on the racetrack are going to put on a great event for everybody tuning in.
And then one more question, if I may. It's about your charity, your foundation with the Lion Hospital. How difficult has that really been during the pandemic in being able to do all the stuff you would normally do with that foundation?
It's been really difficult. A lot of our efforts in the past have gone into giving these comfort kits to families that show up to the hospital and usually show up in an emergency and get there and don't have anything. They don't have lotion or chapstick or an extra, a clean pair of underwear and socks, or they don't have anything to entertain their kids with. So we've built these comfort kits, and they were delivered on certain floors of the hospital that usually dealt with these instances where people showed up and didn't have things. So now with the hospital situation being what it is, and family and stuff not being able to come and be with their children as much as just one guardian and all those things, and the fact that we can't volunteer, that was something that was very important to Janice and myself and our kids as well, was volunteering at the hospital and going there and hand delivering these comfort kits from room to room. That's been tough. We had a lot of great things planned this year. We were working with Waffle House on something to do once a month. We were going to do Waffle Wednesday night, and we were going to serve breakfast for dinner to everybody. And Smithfield was going to donate the bacon, and we were going to pre-cook all the bacon. And Waffle House was going to bring waffle irons in the lobby at the hospital, and we were going to have breakfast for dinner. And anybody in the hospital could come down to the lobby and make a to-go plate and take it back up to their room. And we were so excited about that. We had so many plans in place to launch that, and it didn't happen because of the pandemic. So a lot of our effort and focus now has been on helping the hospital deal with the pandemic, helping the frontline workers, the nurses, the staff, and all the people that are really getting hit the hardest with the pandemic. That's where a lot of our resources and focus has been lately.
Thanks, Aric. Good luck next week, and hopefully the pandemic calms down so we can get that going back up again.
Agreed.
Okay, Aric, we're gonna close out with one final question that we received via text. It's just related to the championship format, and obviously the driver who may have had a successful regular season may not make it to the Final Four. And the question is just related to how are the playoffs a good method of deciding the champion? Your opinion, your thoughts on that?
Hey, you can go 15-1 or 16-0 in the regular season in the NFL and not make it to the Super Bowl. You can have the best record in baseball and not make it to the World Series. It's called sports. It's competition, and you have to be good when it matters the most. And so, yeah, being good during the regular season has a lot of perks and benefits. Certainly winning a bunch of races is great for, the morale and the confidence and, the sponsors and everybody involved with the race team. But when the playoffs come, you still have to perform at a very high level, and even all the success during the regular season, it does parlay into the playoffs, just like regular sports. Regular sports, you get a better seed. When you go into the playoffs in NASCAR, you have more bonus points, and so that can kind of help give you a buffer or a cushion on whether or not you have a bad race. It could kind of save you, if you will, based on your regular season results. But yeah, it's part of sports, and sometimes no matter how great you are during the regular season, if you're not equally as great when the playoffs come, you could find yourself not racing for a championship.
All right, Aric, we appreciate your time, and we wish you the best of luck in the Daytona 500.
All right, thanks, guys.